Hi, my name is Brian Dellerman, and this is Lorene, and we're having our conversation tonight about using our smartphones in the midst of class, in the midst of the work setting, and how it can affect our listening or half listening. And what we're going to do is touch on the empathetic listening, what it takes to actually fully focus and understand. Sometimes a situation requires feeling, understanding the feeling or the motives that come with the conversation. And basically, I'll use an example. I had a teacher, one teacher, that he was really okay with texting in class. He would actually make a comment that he would give people time from the beginning of class when it started to text, when he was kind of getting things together, but basically open the door for people to text um, in the midst of a 5 to 15 minute window in the beginning of class. And obviously, maybe that was an attempt to eliminate texting, but I think that opened the door, as I was saying, for texting, because of course people would continue to text after that. I myself noticed in that class specifically, me texting, finding myself just pulling my phone out to use it real quick. Um, and, obviously, I think that can affect empathetic listening, which, of course, is focusing and understanding. Um, so you understand the situation, feelings, or the motives. Um, and I actually had another class where, kind of different example, where it was involving the book um, that I read, chapter 4, which was distracting communication or distracting classroom behavior. And it had to do with a student that I was sitting next to. And I was very interested and focused in the class. It was a culture class, cultural awareness class. And it was something I was interested in, but I found that this student always was talking in the midst of the teacher, trying to talk. It didn't matter what it was, whether it was through a lecture or something just through the class. Maybe he wasn't as interested. I actually think that that was the case. He felt that he knew the things that were being spoke about, so he didn't have to understand or focus in the class. Um, and I just remember getting to certain points in that class where I was irritated, wanting to tell him to stop. The teacher was aware of him talking, just would at times, of course, tell him that he needed to stop talking and allow other students to listen. But that's another example of how that can affect someone's attentiveness or listening in a classroom. And basically, that being one example, and then the other example being, using your phone, texting it in school, or of course, in the work setting also. You know, what questions we're going to be looking for are, you know, um, how does it impact you when you're texting at work, whether it be relevant to the job or not relevant to the job?
It can be distracting, but it's also helpful because I'm in a position where there's always a lot going on. So if I'm on the phone or I'm in the middle of doing something and somebody needs to reach me or I need to reach somebody, I text them. Um, but at the same time, it can be distracting if something that has nothing to do with work and I'm dealing with that. Usually takes my focus away from other things. But I'm in a place where they allow it. They allow the texting. He doesn't even think twice about it, which is funny because it's opposite from my old job where it was like you had to hide the phones. But we use our phones. We use them for work. So I guess it's a matter of figuring out when it's appropriate to use it and when it's not.
And I guess I can see how that would be effective in a positive way because it's being able to have multiple, um, being capable of contacting you in multiple ways,
Hmm.
whether it be through email or phone call, at your desk, or of course on your cell phone. Um, Another example, I guess, this is kind of interesting, but aside from work, how work can affect you by using your phone, contacting you when you're not at work, um, essentially trying to have a private life, and then your phone being attached to your job.
Yeah, that can be frustrating too because it's never like off time. It's too easy for people to be able to reach you.
Well, and how would that be, in an example, how does it impact you um, while trying to do something with your daughter or your family? Because that's another example, is, of course, impacting you on that end of things.
There's been many times that it took up a lot of time that I was trying to spend with family or quality time with my daughter or just doing things outside of work, and I would get phone calls and text messages, and it's gotten at times it's convenient. And if I'm not in the office and it's during work hours and people need to reach me, it's fine. But it's gotten to a point where now I don't answer.
And of course, you have to force yourself to um, not allow that to happen, obviously. And then at some point, the the risk of half listening for me, as the example in class, I'll just bring that up. The half listening in that class was something I did not want to happen because I was very interested in the things that were going on in class, that class in particular, the cultural awareness, and um, that's where for me I learned that half listening isn't going to work. You're not going to be able to obtain and learn all the information given to you. And in that situation, as I go back to, it became frustrating. And one, the teacher was aware of it, and two, me, I would find myself either trying to make an excuse as to why I needed to pay attention to something, or just getting frustrated and say, "Look, man, I need it. I'm here because I want to hear what he's saying." And I don't know if that was something that he took in consideration, being a student sitting next to someone else that did want to, because it continued to happen at times. But yeah, I just think that those are things that definitely need to be taken consideration of. And I just go back to the term out of the book, which is empathetic listening, and how important that is to fully focus and understand something, because it takes more than just physically listening. And yeah.